going on, peeps? It's Raph here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. Want to thank you guys so much for coming out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button to show your support, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, so some new updates here, some pretty interesting stuff and things. We're going to talk about them for a little bit, and we're going to jump in the game and talk about them a little bit more. Alright, so first up, two new 5-star heroes, the Corpsedemon and Kamath, I guess is how you say it. I don't know, could be wrong there. Both of them are Shadow Faction, so I guess that's alright. This works for me. New gameplay is something to be Celestial Island Battle. I don't know anything about this. I haven't really looked into it yet, but it's supposed to launch, I don't know, sometime soon. It says coming soon in game. I haven't logged in today, so it might be active now. I don't know. We'll see in shortly. But like I said, new stuff going on. Daily login bonus is great. 5 heroic scrolls every day you log in, and 15 5-star hero shards. That's great. Save those back for the next heroic miracle event. It's going to be nice. Chance to get profit orbs in the campaign. Sweet. Double loot from the campaign. Sweet, 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 sweet. Awesome. And there's also double odds to summon 5-star heroes for heroic summons, and even higher chances to summon Corpsedemon and Kamath. So that's going to be great. There's also Michelle and Sleepless in the, the little altar store or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. We know the rest of this stuff pretty much. Let's jump in. Let's jump in, peeps. It's going to be great. So we're going to do some heroic summons probably in the next video. This one here, we're just going to talk about the new heroes and what are they really about? Are they good? Should you get them? Stuff and things like that. We got some mail. What is my mail? Give it to me. Thank you much. Alright, and we got some of this as well. Take that. Actually, does that complete a quest for me? It does. Need to do 3 battles in the arena in the next hour, or I will miss my 100 gems. That would suck some weens. But right now for the daisies, actually, let's jump up here. Alright. So there's also this thing going on. I didn't talk about this. These weird soul symbols that you can replace a 10-star hero. In all honesty, I can almost not see a reason this would ever be used. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've 10-starred a hero, you probably know that you like that hero and it's very good. The odds that you would want to replace that hero for someone different, I mean, maybe, but it just seems odd. I don't see, if I take something to 10 stars, because I wanted that monster, I wanted that hero to be 10-starred. So I don't know about that one, a little weird. But there's all your prizes. I got one because I did it for free because I'm awesome. There's the hero exchange, and then the summoning packages. If you get these guys, you do get the 25 of the orange artifact fragments. Not bad. Those orange artifacts are pretty disgusting, so that would be nice to get one of them. But obviously the point of the day, we're going to talk about the new heroes. So they're going to be here in the Shadow Faction. Here's one of them, the Corpsedemon. We'll look at 5 and 6-star, and we'll brush over 10 because, I mean, really you're only going to get a 10-star if you're spending some serious cashola. Most of us, we stuck with a 5 and 6, 7, 8-star. That's where your free-to-play players kind of going to be. I'm not exactly 100% free-to-play, whatever. I've bought some monthly cards, I'm not going to lie. But this is the area I would probably mess in as the 5 and 6s. So straight up, you can see he's pretty much a tank. He's got that really high life stat, 36,000. That's pretty good. Really low damage, kind of like a Gru damage there. Not a lot of damage. Some decent armor, and he's actually kind of fast. But here we go. Fury of Iciness. It's going to deal 112% of attack damage against frontline enemies. It has a 28% chance to freeze them for 2 rounds. Also heals himself for 300% of his attack as HP. Can't be dodged. That's awesome. That counters things like Queen, who does counterattacks all the time. Ice Blink, who can freeze your whole team. You could freeze him straight out the gate for 2 rounds. Very strong there, not to mention a good self-heal. 300% of your life is a self-heal. Not bad. It only gets bigger the higher level he gets, and it kind of keeps you from relying so much on like an Ormus or a Vesa to keep your tank alive. Alright, moving over. Passive skill number 1, when taking damage by a non-warrior target, so a ranger, a mage, etc., has a 10% chance to freeze a target for 2 rounds. That's powerful, alright? Not to mention, when taking damage by a warrior target, a 20% chance to freeze a target for 2 rounds. So, Sigmund, pretty decent counter to Sigmund, because he can freeze himself when he attacks him. I don't know if it works when he counterattacks him, but it says when taking damage. So that, I would assume, would be if he counterattacks Corpsedemon, he will actually have a chance to get frozen there as well. So, a good way to maybe counter a Sigmund. Also a great way to counter almost every monster, every hero in the game, because you get a 10% and a 20% chance to freeze them for 2 rounds. Very strong passive skill there. Moving over, another passive skill, increases attack by 10%, whatever, HP by 20%, also pretty good for a, a tank, and his armor by 15%. Also, he's immune to being frozen. This is going to also counter Ice Blink, okay, because Ice Blink, if you don't know, his big AoE skill is a freeze. That's his big deal. I think he also does he do bonus damage to frozen enemies? I can't remember. Could be wrong there. but he's a freezer. That's what he does in the front line. This guy can actually freeze Ice Blink. Anytime Ice Blink damages him, he could also freeze Ice Blink, and he's immune to being frozen by Ice Blink. So, pretty solid counter to the Ice Blink strat. Also a really good counter to maybe Sigmund because of that chance to freeze Sigmund on the return damage. So far, looking like a really, really solid warrior. This is his last passive skill here. While below 50% health, heals self for 240% of his attack as HP for 3 rounds continuously. Again, a great way to heal himself because his active skills can give him back 300% of his life when he does that. And this, if he gets below half health, he will start healing himself for 240% of his attack, not to mention whatever your healer is doing, like your Vesa, your Ormus, your Norma, whatever else is also healing him as well. Really good survivability there. I think that's a really solid skill. Very interesting monster here. Monster. I play a lot of Monster Legends. Very interesting hero here. He does look kind of like a monster, but probably going to be one of the better warriors. I get a feeling like he's going to be one of the top tier. He's going to go up there because of his chance to do crowd control and stuff like that in PvP. It's going to be pretty big. Okay, so that's Corpsedemon. I'm at 5-star. We'll go and talk about his 6-star, and then we'll brush over 10-star, and then we'll go back and talk about the Kamath or whatever. So 6-star, here we go, somewhere in this area place. Right there, bang. Found him. Corpsedemon. So he gets, obviously, a big buff to his damage here, and also a 35% chance to freeze the front line for 2 rounds now, so that has gone up quite a bit. Not to mention his self-heal's gone up from 300% to 400%, so a much bigger self-heal, obviously. Not to mention, look at that life at 6-star, 100,000. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Now, obviously, his chance to freeze is also increased. Okay, so he now has a 15% chance to freeze non-warrior targets when they attack him, and a 27% chance to freeze warrior targets when they attack him. So his chance goes up, which means he's even more likely to crowd control the enemy. Really solid, really solid. Moving over, his passive skill, his attack still, I think it's only 10%. I don't think it went up any. His HP got up by 5%, and the armor went up by 5%. Still immune to freeze. Okay. Over here, his passive skill did get a buff from 240% of HP as attack as HP up to 340%. So 100% increase in how much, well, not really a direct 100% increase, but obviously a big increase in how much life he's going to be healing when he gets below 50%. So very solid at the 6-star range as well. Gets much stronger with some decent armor, 1,036. Moving down, really quick talk about his 10-star form, which does look pretty baller, not gonna lie. Check this out though, guys. 500% of his HP, okay, when he heals with his skill, plus a 42% chance to freeze the front 2 monsters. That's almost 50% chance, so pretty much he's going to get one of them whenever he casts his skill. Not always, obviously, but pretty close to that. Does a pretty decent amount of damage too, but he's a warrior, kind of like a tanky warrior, like Gru a little bit, so he's not going to do a ton of damage. That's not really his job. But that life, 617,000 life at 10-star, obviously very, very tanky, very tanky. But when you move over to here, he now has a 20% chance to freeze any non-warrior target that attacks him, and a 35% chance to freeze any warrior target that does attack him. Attack him for 2 rounds. So that's really powerful. It takes you out of the fight for 2 full rounds. That can be the difference between winning and losing a battle. If you don't know, that makes a big difference. Not being able to attack and get your skills built up and stuff like that. It's crazy. Over here, his attack does go up by 5% now. Yay, 15%. His HP up by 30%, which is nice. All right. Armor by 30%, and he's immune to freeze still. Duh. Those are just your normal passives. And this one here, when below 50% life, 50% life, he's going to heal by 440% of his attack as life for 3 rounds continuously. That's powerful. Okay, that's really powerful with even 17,000 base damage. That's still, what is that? That's 5 times that amount, right? Because 100%'s double, triple, quadruple. Yeah, that's 5 times his damage. So that's pretty much 5 times 20,000, it's 100,000 life every turn for 3 turns. And that's with no gear on him, you know what I'm saying? So, absolutely awesome tank monster, in my opinion. He's going to be a staple in a lot of teams, I think, because of his ability to counter Sigmund, who does the counterattack damage. If he counterattacks this guy and freezes himself, he's out of the fight for 2 rounds. That's a big deal when fighting Sigmund, because he's very, very nasty. Okay, same with Ice Blink, immune to freeze, so Ice Blink can't ever crowd control him, and he has the chance to crowd control Ice Blink, I said. Not to mention, anytime Ice Blink attacks him, he has a chance to freeze Ice Blink there too. So, really solid passive skills, and really solid active skills. This guy is going to be, he's going to be something, peeps. Going to be something. Alright, that's going to take us over to the other new 5-star, Kamath. Looks kind of like a I don't know, someone who's blind with an eyeball in his chest and his shoulder. That would be weird. You know, someone punched you in the chest, that would really suck. It'd be right in the eye. But anyways, that's not important. We're going to talk about this guy. He is a ranger, so he's going to be more of a damage-dealing kind of dude. Not so much, well, he has some crowd control too. We'll talk about that. So this guy's going to deal 103% of his attack damage against backline enemies with a 22% chance to petrify them for 2 rounds, and it also decreases their armor by 15% for 3 rounds. So that's not bad for like marauders and raid bosses. Stripping armor off of them is always nice, helps your team deal more damage. Not to mention in PvP and any other thing, this has a chance to petrify back enemies for 2 rounds. That's always annoying, okay? Moving over, Rock Solid increases attack by 15%, HP by 20%, armor by 10%, and he's immune to being petrified. So that's kind of a similarity between the two. One's immune to freeze. This guy can't be petrified. So he kind of counters Karma a little bit there with her petrification. Not to mention, if we get over to this next passive skill, he has an 80% damage boost to petrified targets. And his basic attack targets all the backline enemies. So if you are reading into this, if he drops his skill and he petrifies even one of the backline targets, he's guaranteed to hit that target with an increased damage because of his passive skill here. So he's going to hit even harder, and that's pretty crazy. All right? Not to mention, it's going to deal 75% of his attack damage, whatever, to all the enemies, but he has a 10% chance to petrify them with that attack. So he can not only petrify on his attacks, on his main attack skill, he also has a small percent chance to do it on his basic attack. So pretty solid, being this an AoE basic attack and a backline enemy special too. So pretty solid there. And his last one here, while below 50% health, increases his reduced damage by 30% for 3 rounds. Reduced damage is much better than armor in this game, so like increasing your armor when you're below 50% health isn't as important because it can still be broken by armor break on assassins and stuff. Reduced damage is a flat damage reduction, so it really helps him from taking damage. That's pretty powerful for a passive skill at the end. Not bad at all. So there's his 5-star stats, 24,000 health, about 4,000 damage. Not a ton of damage, but as you can see, he does play very strong with his crowd control and his ability to increase his damage by crowd controlling. So not bad. Moving down to his 6-star self in this area place right here. You can see his attack does get quite a buff, and his health also gets quite a buff. 73 grand stock. That's not bad. Not to mention his attack's pretty high too. So here we go. 138% damage against backline enemies, and now a 29% chance to petrify them for 2 rounds, and it also strips off 22% of their armor for 3 rounds. And now, that's what I'm saying, that also plays into his damage, because you're not only, if he does petrify them, that's great. If he doesn't, they still have reduced armor. So he will hit them harder with his next normal attack anyway, alright? Moving over, this does get a slight bump, 20% attack, 20% HP, armor by 15%. Not huge for his armor. I don't think that's a huge deal, but it's not bad, I guess. But then we've got this. Now he has a 110% damage bonus to petrified targets, dealing 85% damage to the entire back line with his basic attack, with a 15% chance to petrify. So his chance to petrify has gone up, his damage against petrified targets goes up, and he does a little more increased damage to the entire back line. Not to mention, once he drops his active skill, that's also going to reduce their armor. If they do get petrified, they'll take even more damage, but even if they don't get petrified, they're still going to take extra damage. So he does help boost his own damage and your entire team's damage that hits backline enemies. So pretty solid there. And then this obviously goes up a little bit. He now has 40% reduced damage for 3 turns, which is pretty good. That's almost a 50% reduction in damage, so he almost takes, he takes 40% of the damage he normally would take. Or 60%, I guess. Which is great. Helps him stay alive longer and deal more damage. Alright? So with that being said, we're going to jump into the final version, the 10-star. Alright, decent health here, 432 grand for a ranger. That's not bad at all. With 25, almost 26,000 damage and 1,800 armor. Not terrible at all, especially when you look at his skills and how much damage he'll be doing because he boosts his own damage pretty much. So his new active skill here is going to have a 35% chance to petrify the entire background for 2 rounds. Pretty powerful, and it also is going to strip off 30% of their armor, which is going to make them much easier to, kill for the rest of your team as well. Over here, he does have a 25% attack boost now, 25% HP boost, and his armor is boosted by 20% as well. His normal passives there. Now, and his Fury of Petrifying, he's got a 140% damage bonus to petrified targets. His basic attack now deals 95% of his attack value to the entire back line with a 20% chance to petrify. So if this guy does end up going before the backline on the enemy side, like, say, priests, etc., and you petrify them even for 1 round with his normal attack, that still stops them from healing. It's going to be very powerful. I think this guy's also a really good hero. They're both launched and they're both really solid. His last skill here now finally boosts his reduced damage to 50%, so he now takes half damage from all sources for 3 rounds. Very powerful. It allows your healer, if it's still alive, to get this guy back to top health and keep him going in the fight to deal more damage. Crazy monsters. These guys are monsters. They look like monsters, but they're heroes, okay? These 2 heroes are actually really solid in my opinion. I think both of them are going to be very big in the game. No, he's not like Ice Blink here with a chance to petrify the entire enemy team, but he does petrify the backline, which is usually where your priests are at, your healers like Ormus and Vesa, stuff like that. He's also got the ability to strip their armor and deal extra damage to them with another chance to petrify them on top of that. Pretty solid ranger here. I think both of these new heroes are going to be absolutely great heroes, and there's no reason not to try to pick one up. So I'll probably do like 100-ish summons here in a little bit. Hopefully I can pick one up, but for nowsies, that's me it for today, guys. Actually, let's click on this real quick. Yep, still coming soon. Okay, want to make sure. All right, so there we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos, don't forget to leave those in the down there, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you liked the video, please make sure you smash that thumbs up button to show your support, and I will see you guys next time.